What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video. And I didn't think today I would be talking about Erik Karlsson once again. And I need to, because there's been a little bit more news, and you guys know I keep up to date with the latest Toronto Maple Leafs news and rumors. So if you are new here, make sure to like this video and subscribe. I apologize for the lighting today. I usually have the blue in the background and everything like that, but the light decided to die. I forgot to charge it. I'm a dumbass. But anyways, like this video and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Join the squad. There's tons of you guys who watch these videos that aren't subbed. I'd greatly appreciate it. I think it's like 70%. So stick around. Lots of great Leaf content coming. And there's a ton already on the channel. But again, Erik Karlsson. Now, we spoke about this briefly before free agency, I believe it was, because the Leafs had a little bit of an announcement, I would say, from Brad Treliving that, or I guess rumors that he would be remodeling the blue line. He wanted to remodel what the team looked like. Up front, he got a lot tougher. On the back end, he wanted to remodel, maybe have a different system, a little bit more of a defensive way of doing things, but also getting like a horse, a guy that can play a bunch of minutes, that can put up numbers potentially. But as we know, the way that the cap is structured, the Maple Leafs don't really have the luxury to do a bunch of things. And especially after free agency, signing Reeves, Bertuzzi, Domi, Klingberg, all this stuff like that, they don't have the necessary means to go out there and, you know, get a horse, go out there and get a guy that can play a bunch and put up big numbers. And before I speak on Karlsson, the reason why this new rumor kind of doesn't make sense to me, and the reason why I think it could be a little bit outdated, is because of the Maple Leafs signing John Klingberg. But before you click off this video, you can't deny the fact that the Maple Leafs are probably still briefly kicking tires on Erik Karlsson. And the reason I say that is because there's no clear future on William Nylander currently. We kind of understand what the clear future is for Austin Matthews, but the Leafs blue line is nothing but a mess in the way I look at it. And the reason I say that is because Klingberg doesn't play defensively at all, and he puts up numbers. The Leafs have TJ Brody, they have Morgan Riley, they have Jake McCabe, they have Giordano, they have Liljegren, they have Timmins, but this blue line got worse in my opinion. And the reason I say that is because they haven't really addressed what they wanted to, and that was having that true shutdown pairing and be okay with it, which it seems like there's a little bit of back and forth talk on whether or not the Leafs are satisfied with TJ Brody in that position, or even Jake McCabe for that matter. And they also didn't truly go out there and get that horse that the rumors were talking about. They went out and got Klingberg. Now, I do expect him to have a really good year, but I'm wondering if Klingberg was the guy that they got because they knew they couldn't get Erik Karlsson. But again, I'm going to say this. Because the Leafs' outlined future with William Nylander is not necessarily in stone, and it's not necessarily, you know, a guarantee, the Leafs have a lot of talking to do and a lot of trade discussion to have. Now, what I'm bringing up right now is part of an article that was posted from a Swedish media account. If you go on Twitter, you'll see it everywhere. I do apologize. I'm not sure of the exact name of the account, but TSN talking about Karlsson after accepting the Golden Puck as Sweden's best hockey player. Chris Johnson reported that the reigning Norris Trophy winner has spoken with the Maple Leafs, Penguins, Seattle Kraken, and Carolina Hurricanes, plus others. Karlsson has expressed an interest in being traded from San Jose in order to join a Stanley Cup contender, and has been working with the Sharks in order to find a potential trade partner. Now, there's a lot of things to unpack here. First of all, we already knew that the two teams have spoken, the Leafs and the Sharks. And there's been a lot of talk about where Karlsson might want to go, and that's to a contender. Now, again, the rumor started to come out that the talk was that he wanted to be traded to Pittsburgh. Well, it looks as though the Sharks might be backed into a corner a little bit. Now, the reason I say that is because, one, it's been widely reported and widely said by both the San Jose Sharks, Mike Greer, and also Erik Karlsson, that he wants out and that he wants a trade and that the Sharks want a trade. But it's also been widely reported that they won't retain 50%. And you know what teams are doing? They're going, okay, cool. Keep Erik Karlsson then, because we're just going to wait till the cap goes up next year. And maybe he's not the same type of player next year, so you can't cash in on his Norris winning season. So teams are not willing to give up great assets, even though he just won a Norris, because he's worth $11.5 million. And for Karlsson, yeah, he puts up numbers, but this was the first time in a while that Karlsson has put up significant numbers. And most people are wondering if it's a flash in the pan because Karlsson wanted out and he just took the puck and did whatever he needed to this year because the Sharks were not good. And that's the thing. The Sharks don't really have any power in my eyes here because they have the money to hold on to him, whereas other teams, they don't really have that money. So they can't go to those teams and say, yeah, we'll trade him to you, but we need this, and this, and you're going to take on all this money. No, it's not going to happen. They need a 3-team trade. They need additional assets. Like, I don't know. Maybe some teams don't look at Karlsson as positive trade value still because of that number. Like I said, $11.5 million. And we'll get to the Leafs here in a second. But if you look at his numbers, like I was mentioning before, in some of the shorter seasons, he was decent. But Karlsson hasn't even eclipsed 70 points since the 16-17 season. And then previously the 60-point season with the Senators. But his entire time with San Jose, he's only had one season where he's eclipsed over 70 points, which, again, these seasons are not bad. Don't get me wrong, for a defenseman. Like, he's putting up huge numbers. And then even in the playoffs, 16 in 19 games. But the fact of the matter is that he's being paid $11.5 million for the next few seasons with a full no movement clause. So he's really deciding where he wants to go. It then backs the Sharks up even more because they don't have the power to just trade him to whatever team. Like if Arizona was like, yeah, we'll take him, but we're not going to be giving up as much because we're taking on his full cap hit, then they would just trade him there. But they can't do that, right? So with the Maple Leafs, like I said before, if we're looking at their cap situation, they're in the negative right now. And this is without signing Ilya Samsonov. At the time I'm recording this, they're in arbitration with this guy. So it's a very, very tough thing for the Leafs to try to figure out here. Could they make a trade where they trade Matt Murray and William Nylander, which, again, I wouldn't do, and then, a guy like Connor Timmins, and then, picks and salary retention and all this different stuff going around? Sure, and we can even look at what that would look like if just by putting guys on LTIR. So let's hypothetically say you trade William Nylander, you trade Matt Murray. Okay, so that's $8.4 million. Okay, well, we're also going to trade Connor Timmins, so now it's 9.5. That's still not even Karlsson's contract, and you still have to make replacements to your team. So, okay, you put Nick Robertson in here. You move some guys around so they can play left wing or right wing or whatever you want to do. It still doesn't give the Leafs, everything that they need. So you put Dylan Gambrell in the minors because you can bury up to $1.1 million in cap. So now they're at 10.3. That's still not Erik Karlsson's contract. So, and then of course you still have to have Ilya Samsonov come in here. So there's a lot of question marks. You have to also more than likely trade TJ Brody. So it's a lot more difficult than you would think. Again, let's hypothetically say you even trade TJ Brody, $15.3 million, and you're hoping that you get salary retention, and now you've got a defenseman making, a ton of money, and your right side would have Karlsson and Klingberg. Sure, that's full chaos offense all day, but look at how much you would have to get rid of just to acquire this player. And is that worth it for the Maple Leafs? William Nylander could go out and score 40 or 45 goals again next year. Karlsson could put up 50 points and be right back to where he was before. And you've got a stupidly expensive defenseman who can't play defense, by the way. Karlsson just doesn't play defense. Like, he just is full-thrown offense. So you have a negative trade asset and you traded away a positive trade asset and a bunch of other positive trade assets. Like when it comes to Timmins, he's a good depth defenseman. TJ Brody, with all the hate, which I don't understand, was fantastic for the Leafs as a defensive defenseman. William Nylander, of course, like I said before, Matt Murray is kind of whatever. And then you have Jake Muzzin on LTIR, whatever. But there's way too much that you would have to do for the Leafs to even have enough money to fit Karlsson into their books. And that's too much, especially if the Leafs have to get a third team to come in to retain salary. You're going to have to feed picks to that team because that team's just going to have dead cap space for the next 4 years. It's almost an impossible move. Now, if more details were to come out and talk about, a 3-team trade or, San Jose being willing to eat 50% of the contract, then we're talking. But as it stands right now, I don't know how the Leafs or any other team with, cup aspirations that are almost touching the ceiling of the salary cap can make this happen. And, I'm a Leaf fan. I make videos about the Leafs. And of course, as a Leaf fan, I understand that the media and YouTubers or whatever will use the Maple Leafs to get more views and that making videos like this gets more views. But as a fan of the team and someone who's been doing this for a long time, I almost feel like I'm clickbaiting myself when I make this content because I don't get it. So when these articles come out, I'm wondering how involved the Maple Leafs are in any of these talks because I'm looking at it, I'm going through the money, I'm thinking of all the different situations, and to me, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. The money doesn't work. The player on the team isn't a fit because they just got Klingberg. I want you guys to comment down below and tell me what you think about all this. And I will make a follow-up video. If more news comes out, you guys know. If there's information for the next 10 articles, I'll make more videos. No problem, because I love talking to you guys. We've had streams and everything on here. I love doing it. I love talking to you guys because it's so much fun. But I want there to be more substance. I want there to be more that's coming out so that way we have more to talk about. So again, lots of content coming. I still have tons of videos when the Samsonov stuff comes out. Like when they figure out the number, I'll be making a video on that, talking about how bad of a situation that could be going forward. There's a lot to talk about. So if you guys are new here, like I said, there's so many of you guys watching right now. If I'm being completely honest with you guys, the next few months is really important for me. I'm trying to make this my full-time job. I have multiple YouTube channels. I talk about a lot of things, and it's my passion. Liking and subscribing does so much. Like, you don't understand. It does so much for me. So if you enjoy my content and you just browse through it sometimes and you watch videos here and there, liking and subscribing literally helps so much. So I'd really appreciate it. Make sure to leave your comments down below about Erik Karlsson or videos that you'd love for me to make. I'm all ears and I'm ready to make content for you guys. So I'll hopefully see you in the next video or stream. Peace.